Kia Wanyan was shot by an arrow in the shoulder. The excruciating pain she had never experienced made her break out in cold sweat instantly, and her face turned deathly pale. She staggered and could barely stand, just as everyone rushed towards her. The assassin with the swords to his neck suddenly took advantage of the chaos and ran towards Kia Wanyan, using all his strength to push her off the cliff. Shiyu immediately dashed towards her, but Kiao Yihuan clung to him tightly, blocking his path. Kia Wanyan's pupils contracted sharply, and her body uncontrollably fell backwards. She desperately grabbed at anything within reach and vaguely felt she had caught a hand. Kiao Yihuan screamed. Qian, Wanyan, both of them plummeted off the cliff. Ziyuan ran over and didn't hesitate to jump down, but Jing Yuan stopped her. Ziyuan's hands trembled. The miss fell off. The assassin who had pushed Kia Wanyan off the cliff laughed maniacally. Since I can savvy my foster father and I'm going to die here, I'll take more people with me. Haha. While spying in Qingzhou City, he had seen the woman he pushed off the cliff for a ride, horses with the crown prince, and be carried back to the inn by him, since they were traveling together in the same carriage on the way back to the capital. They must be closely related. The crown prince hadn't married a crown princess yet, so she was most like Laya, favored side consort or concubine, unable to save his foster father or kill the crown prince. He would kill the crown prince's loved women and make them be buried with the dead. Seeing the crown prince's enraged expression, he felt extremely satisfied. Ziyu walked towards him, step by step with a sword in hand, gazing at him with a cold stares. He pierced the assassin's throats with the swords, splattering blood all over himself. Kiao Yihuan skipped a beat. She had never seen His Highness like this. Was it because of Kia Wanyan? Did His Highness care so much about Kia Wanyan? A coldness like ice emanated from Ziyu's throat. Where is the one who shot the arrow from hiding? Just as Jing Yuan was about to speak, a young man with a black ponytail dragged out a dead assassin in black clothes. The assassin's chest was gouged into a bloody mess, so horrifying that it sent chills down one's spine. Lu Jinye gave Kiao Yuan a cold stare, then turned around, mounted a horse beside him, and galloped away. Ziyu knew that teenager was Kia Wanyan's bodyguard. The direction he was heading indicated he wanted to search the bottom of the cliff. Send half the guards to search the cliff bottom. Jing Yuan, you personally take Li Xiao back to the capital without delay. Jing Yuan said, Your Highness, there will naturally be people to look for the young master and second miss. Kiao, if you stay here. Before he could finish, he was interrupted. I am giving you an order, not discussing it with you. Jing Yuan immediately nodded. This subordinate understands his mistake and will do it immediately. Ziyu intended to escort Kiao Yihuan back to the carriage. Yihuan, it's not safe here. You should follow. Jing Yuan back to Yangzhou first. Kiao Yihuan shook her head. I want to stay here and search for Wanyan and Qian. With your highness, I'm very worried about them. Even if your highness tells me to go back, I'll be restless. Unable to persuade her, Ziyu had to take her to the cliff bottoms together. Kiao Yihuan followed behind, her fingertips trembling. What had she done? She had clearly wanted to step forward and block that arrow for His Highness. So why had she pushed Kia Wanyan instead? Kiao Yihuan bit her lips, her heart torn. But if Kia Wanyan really died like this, no one would compete with her for His Highness. But if Kia Wanyan survived and told His Highness that she had pushed her, what would happen? Kiao Yihuan was overwhelmed with anxiety, her mind in chaos. torturing her as if she were going crazy. Zhao Ying looked at her an easy expression and swallowed all the words she wanted to say. She had always hopped at Ed to see the eldest miss becomes strong, no longer weak and bullied. But when she had seen the eldest miss push the second miss away earlier, she admitted that for a moment, she didn't recognize the eldest miss. The howling wound in her ears was like a knife, stabbing her face with biting pain. Lu Jinye did not slow down, urging the horses to gallop towards the cliff bottom. It was getting dark, and the temperature had plummeted, making him anxious. If Qiao Wanyan died, he would die too. But since he was still alive, it meant she was still alive. However, falling from such a high cliff, even if she hadn't been killed by the fall, with an arrow in her shoulder, a delicate noble lady like her would never survive the night without timely treatment. He had to hurry more. At that time, He Yanli, who had left Yangju City and was secret Lai returning to the capital, received a secret letter. He tore open the seal and took out the letter. After a quick glance, his face changed drastically. In an instant, his blood seemed to flow backwards, and his brain buzzed. A metallic taste welled up in his throat, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Mo Xiao was greatly alarmed. "Your Highness, are you all right?" He Yanli didn't say a word. He dashed out of the post station, mounted a horse, and headed south. Snow fell thick and fast. In the dark night, the horse galloped without a moment's pause. What was he afraid of? He Yanli tightly gripped the reins, pondering this question for a long time before giving himself an answer. He was afraid that the heartless woman who had wronged at him hadn't eaten by his hand. Qiao Wanyan's consciousness gradually returned. Before opening her eyes, she felt as if her entire body was broken. Then, the piercing pain in her shoulder hit her mind, causing her small face to scrunch up in pain. It hurts. She slowly opened her eyes and saw a strange, dilapidated roof. Even as a light movement made her breaking out in cold sweat, so she gave up on getting up and turned her head to see her surroundings as much as possible. Within her limited line of sight, she was lying on several wooden planks, next to a crackling wood fire. On the other side of the fire was Zhang Qian, wearing mourning clothes. Qiao Wanyan wanted to cry, but had no tears. "This is bad." The Grim Reaper looks so familiar. How unlucky. Zhang Qian, are you all right? I feel unlucky too. Dragged off the cliff by you to suffer like this, Zhang Qian complained. Fortunately, there had been arrivers at the bottom of the cliff. Although he had felt like his body was falling apart when he landed, he had still carried Qiao Wanyan, who was unconscious like a dead dog, to find shelter from the cold. He had, after all the trouble, found a dilapidated, thatched cottage and wanted to find some clothes to change out of his wet ones. But he had only found how many sets of mourning clothes. Now he was being called unlucky by this shameless woman. Qiao Wanyan blinked, her voice still nasal. "I am still alive. I fell from such a high cliff and survived. After surviving a great disaster, there must be good fortune. Could it be that I'm chosen one?" Zhang Qiyun's corner of the mouth twitched at us. Lightly, he leaned over and placed the back of his hands on her forehead. She was indeed burning up. He said, "Get ready. You can be a fool in the future." Be a fool? Qiao Wanyan's delicate eyes brows furrowed slightly. "No, I don't want to become like Zhang Qian." Zhang Qian, he exhaled heavily. Fine, no need to argue with someone who's delirious from fever. Hey, can you get up now? We need to pull the arrow out of your shoulder first, or you won't live to see tomorrow's sun. Qiao Wanyan squinted weakly. Her clothes are still damp except for the area near the fire, which had dried. Despite this, she felt no cold. Instead, her body burned hot, and her head spun dizzily. What if it's cloudy tomorrow? She paused, then whispered, "It hurts. I hurt so much." Zhang Qiyan was starting lead. This was the first time he'd seen Kia Wanyan so delicate. Her tone soft with a hint of coke try, the petula and tea. The look in her eyes was like a gentle breeze brushing his heart, filling his mind with an indescribable feeling. Closing his eyes, Zhang Qiyan resigned himself. Fine, if he didn't act. She'd dearest become a fool or a corpse from the fever. I always carry wound medicine. Let me pull out the arrow. Can you bear it? Kia Wanyan nodded weakly. Be gentle. Zhang Qiyan's ears reddened. He suddenly read visiting a friend and over. Hearing muffled noises in the study, along with the woman's half a protesting be gentle. He slapped his forehead. What was he thinking? Taking a deep breath, he hesitated at the feathered arrow in her shoulder. But at this matter of life and death, he still led himself to slowly peel back her clothes, exposing her delicate white shoulders and neck. The wound was already inflamed and swollen. Gritting his teeth, Zhang Qiyan gripped the arrow and pulled. In an instant, Kia Wanyan sucked in a sharp breath, cold sweat beading on her forehead, her face ashen, her already pale lips lost all color. The searing pain jolted Kia Wanyan's consciousness, while Zhang Qiyan's expression turned grave. It's a barbed arrow. He glanced at her, his heart sinking. Even a strong man would struggle to endure removing a barbed arrows, let alone a pamped red young ladies like Kia Wanyan. She'd lie passed out from the pain. Kia Wanyan clenched her fists, nails digging into her palms without notice. If the arrow stayed, she wouldn't survive. She'd came too far to die in this wilderness. Her gaze firm, but voice weak, she said, "Knock me out. Pull the arrow when I'm unconscious. Please." Zhang Qiyan refused. No, if the pain jolts you awake, it could trigger aviolent reactions and make things are worse. I'll need to widen the wound slightly, bore with it. Closing her eyes, Kia Wanyan paused before whispering, "Okay." Zhang Qiyan sterilized a dagger over the fire, then carefully incised the wounds to loosen the arrows. As he worked, he glanced at her. She bit her lips so hard that her previously bloodless lips turned a vivid red. "Just scream. Stop biting." No sooner had he spoken than a heart-wrenching shrieks pierced the air. Stunned, Zhang Qiyan thought it sounded more ear-piercing than a pig being slaughtered. Was this really coming from her? He yanked out the arrow swiftly. The barbs were drenched in blood, the wounded a raw mess, and Kia Wanyan had fainted from the pain. He applied the wound medicine, tore a strip from his own dried shirt to bandage her, but still couldn't relax. Gingerly, he checked her breath, feeling the faint puff. He seemed to make a decision, withdrawings from a small porcelain vials. His chest, inside was aiguille yuan pill, crafted by the retired imperial physician in chief as a gift from his grandfather. At his birth, only two existed. One remained sealed in the imperial hospital, and this one had been begged by his grandfather for him. One pill could sustain a dying person, but survival depended on the patient. Kia Wanyan slept her shoulders bare, blood seeping through the bandage like a storm. Battered flowers on the verge of wilting. Her long hair splayed across the wood's end planks. Her usually haughty beauty now carried Afragil. Broken air is vulnerable and harmless. Zhang Qiyan felt a pang of pity. Despite her unconscious state, he fed her the Guiyuan pill. Lucky you shameless woman. Her clothes were still damp. but he dared not change them. Instead, he lit more fires around her head, feet, and sides to keep her warm. The dilapidated hut had collapsed beds. He'd laid planks on the floor where she now rested, surrounded by flames. Jong Kian collapsed onto the ground, staring at her firelit form. She looked like a goddess about to be sacrificed, or, less poetically, like she was being cremated. In the late night, Kiao Wanyan woke. The moment she did, excruciating pain surged through her. Even the light estate movement brought waves of agony. She dared not stir. Knowing this suffering was all Kiao Yi Huan's doing, she'd been careless, never expecting Kiao Yuan to push her into the arrow's path instead of taking it for the prince. As in the storybooks, she usually avenged wrongs immediately, but this time she'd have to wait. Jong Kian, she called. Jong Kian, despite not being delicate, had fallen from a high cliff and now lay curled on the planks, unable to sleep. His mind replayed Kiao Wanyan's pig slaughtering during screams. Her treatment, the once false, arrogant woman who fawned dead, overpowered now showed her Oz unfamiliar side, like he was seeing her true self for the first time. What if he snapped, opening his eyes? I am thirsty. Sitting up. He scowled at her commanding tone. Why are you so high maintenance? Kiao Wanyan wasn't entirely foolish, knowing when to yield. She didn't retort as usual, please. Jong Kian swallowed, still scowling as he stood. So damn needy. Grumbling. He fetched water from the river in a chipped bowls, then carefully helped her sit up. She drained it, then drawled. Took you so long. Are you a snail in human form? Jong Kian froze. Are you a face-changing master? Your Highness, it's already so late. Please rest for a while. Kiao Yi Huan said, her face filled with worry. It was already the second half of the night. The area below the cliff was vast, making it extremely difficult to find two people. Even if they searched all night, they might not succeed. Hiziyu's expression was grave. Your sister has been pimped red since childhood. Now she's been shot by an arrow and fallen off a cliff. Her life uncertain. How can I rest easy? Not to mention Jong Kian fell too. One was the legitimate daughter of the Minister of Revenue, and the other was the precious young Lord of Jing'an Marquis Manor, raised personally by the Emperor. If something truly happened to them, how would he explain it to their families? Kiao Wanyan should have already returned too. Yongju, she had stayed to accompany him back, only because he feels red for her safety on the journey. Who would have thought they'd encounter assassins trying to rescue Li Xiao, dragging her into danger instead? Hiziyu was overwhelmed with anxiety. Kiao Wanyan should have been safe lie by Kiao Yi Huan's side in the carriage. Why had she suddenly rushed out and took an arrow? Had she seen the arrows from the shadows and stepped forward to block it for him? Kiao Yi Huan said, but if your highness falls ill from this, Yi Huan will be heartbroken. I can search for Qian and Wanyan on your behalf. Knowing her kind nature, Hiziyu softened at his tone. How can Ilida, delicate women like you, go searching alone? You Ray pure-hearted and worried about your sister. But if you fall ill, wouldn't he have to divide my attention to care for you as well? Kiao Yuan shook her head, still unwilling, wanting to join the search. Yu gently urged, be good and stay here. Guards will protect you. Turning to another servant, he added, take good care of your young lady. Xiaoying nodded in agreement. Miss, His Highness is so worried about you. Please stay and wait for them to return. Kiao Yirwan had no choice but to comply. Are you done yet? Zhang Qian paced outside, shivering from the cold. He regretted the worst decision of his life. showing kindness on the cliff too. Pull her back instead of saving her. He'd been dragged off the cliff with her. Now his body ached as if run over by a carriage, and he was stuck outside freezing, while she changed clothes inside. So slow, she'd been changing for almost half the time it took to burn a sticks of incense. Come in. Jang Chi-yun opened the door irritably but froze at the sight of the woman in plain white morning clothes inside. Her ink black, well-maintained hair cascaded down her back. Her delicate features are as stunning as carved jade. The morning clothes were rough, ill-fitting burlap yet on Kia Wanyan. They looked like splendid silk, breathtaking in their fragility and beauty. A striking visual shock. Though surrounded by the dilapidated, dirty hut, she shone like a pearl, a surreal flower blooming in a realm of chaos. Close the door. It's cold. Jang Chi-yun snapped back to reality, so high maintenance, taking forever to change. Kia Wanyan held her hands to the fire, eyes downcast. The wound hurts. Even moving a little hurts. So of course it took longer. He rolled his eyes. Art, you the one who ran around? Would you have been shot if you'd stayed put? She looked up at him. You know I wouldn't. Jang Ki-yun choked, swallowing his retort. Why on? Do you try to sleep more? It's still hours till dawn. Her gaze remained fixed on him. Intense. You followed me to Kia Yi Huan's side, guarding your precious sister Yi. Huan like she might get hurt. Pausing, she enunciated each word. Your gentle and kind sister Yi Huan seems less virtuous than she pretends. At least I'm honestly ruthless, not a hypocrite. He fell silent, avoiding her gaze. I didn't know what you Ray talking about. She scoffed. You saw it, didn't you? He'd been watching Kiao Yi Huan closely. Impossible not to have seen. And his reaction didn't match his pretended confusion. Liars are dogs. He frowned. Kia Wanyan, how dare you insult me? This shameless woman was more agreed, able when delirious from fever. She shot him a look. Did I name names? I just said liars are dogs. You didn't, did you? Jang Chi-yun was speechless. After a moment, he mumbled, Sister Yi Huan isn't like that. She probably saw the arrow and tried to push you to safety, but it went wrong. His voice lacked conviction. Kia Wanyan sneered, believe what you want. He bowed his head silent. Finally, he said, I treated your arrow wounds. Don't worry, I'll take responsibility. When we return to the capital, I'll propose marriage and make you my concubine. He longed to marry Sister Yi Huan, but she loved the crown prince. He only wished her happiness, but the position of principal wife would always be reserved for her, even if he never married her. I won't take April wife. As my concubine, no one will dare bully you. There won't be others, concubines or chambermaids. You can rest assured. After speaking, he secretly glanced at her. Seeing her calm expression, he relaxed slightly. If Kia Wanyan married him, she wouldn't compete with Sister Yi Huan for the position of crown princess. In a way, this would help Sister Yi Huan. Kia Wanyan backed him over. As he approached, he asked, what is it? Does the wound hurt more? Slap? Jang Ki-yun covered his cheeks, staring at her in shock. No one had ever laid a hand on him, let alone slapped him hard. He should be angry, furious enough to destroy her. But somehow, the first thing he noticed was a faint, delicate fragrance, followed by the sting of the slap. As the scent filled his nose, the burning pain felt less like agony and more like exhilaration. Kia Wanyan's wounds hadn't healed yet, and the slap she delivered hurt her terribly. Don't even talk about being a side concubine, even if you knelt and begged me to be your principal wife. I wouldn't agree. I treated my own injuries. They have nothing to do with you. Got that? Jong Ki-yeon laughed in irritation. Me? Kneel and beg you to be my wife? Do you think I even want to marry you? I saw your body, so I'm marrying you out of gentlemanly duty. Otherwise, do you think I do care about you? A domineering, unhinged woman like her. If he actually married her, she'd probably throw tantrums and slapped him every other day. Kia Wanyan slapped him again, this time swinging her arms out of anger, which just left her wounded and made tears spill uncontrollably. Her crystal-clear tears made her look pitiful, and Jong Chi-yeon's rising anger faded slightly. I didn't cry when you hit me. What are you crying for? You saw my body. Let's get one thing straight. You only saw a shoulder, you clueless fool. Jong Chi-yeon's face flushed with anger as he stood up abs roughly. If it weren't against hitting women, you'd be dead by now. Kia Wanyan reached out to pinch his calf, and Jong Ki-yeon yelped, stumbling backwards. Get out! Jong Ki-yeon didn't leave. Instead, he sat down about half a zhang away. Why should I leave? I found this place. If anyone's leaving, it's you. You don't want to marry me? I'll insist on marrying you just to spite you. Kia Wanyan bit her lip, her tears flowing harder. Tears fell off like a pearl. Broken string, dressed in plain, mourning-like clothes. She looked fragile and pitiable, her sobs only amplifying her vulnerability. Jong Ki-yeon panicked slightly, stepping closer to hand her a handkerchief. Why are you crying? I didn't say anything that bad. I saw your shoulder. So of course I have to take responsibility. Kia Wanyan sneered, then pinched his arm with all her might. Jong Chi-yeon yelped again, retreating as he snapped, You fight dirty. Kia Wanyan shot him a disdainful look. Idiot. Let me say this one last time. I treated my own arrow wounds. It has nothing to do with you. If you dare spread rumors or ask for my hand in marriage when we return to the capital, I'll kill Ki Ao Yuan. Jong Ki-yeon snapped back, How dare you? Why wouldn't I dare? But killing her would be too merciful. I'll betroth her to the Minister of Rights. He has over 30 concubines, and his principal wife just died last month. Perfect timing for a new one. Jong Chi-yeon flushed with anger. The Minister of Rights had lived out for principal wives, and concubines held in his house were often carried out bruised and bloodied within days. If Sister Yi Hwan came his wife, she'd be tortured to death. You vicious woman. Then keep your mouth shut if you're scared. Jong Ki-yeon snorted. Fine. Who do you think wants to marry you anyway? Kia Wanyan ignored him, gently touching her wounds. It ached terribly. She'd make Kia Yuan pay for this suffering. Kia Wanyan stayed awake all night. The quieter it got, the more intense the pains in her shoulders came. The next morning, when Jong Ki-yeon woke, he saw her propped against a wooden beam, the sarcastic remark on his tongue dying. In the bright daylight, her pale, almost sickly complexion was clearer. Her delicate brows were furrowed, as if struggling to bear the pain radiating from her injury. She probably hadn't slept on from the agony. Jong Chi-yeon left without a word. The rickety door opened and closed. Kia Wanyan didn't even glance his way. She could walk out even, if she wanted to, in the snowy, freezing weather with her injuries. She could only wait for rescue. Even if everyone else ignored her, Lu Jinyu would come. She was worried about dying here. Kia Wanyan stared at the dying fire, tossing in afterwood chunks that crackled loudly. When Jong Ki-yeon returned, he found her staring forlorn, lie at the extinguished flames, as if confused why the fire had died despite her adding wood. What are you doing? He asked, approaching to examine the damp logs in the fire pit. My lady, Do you have no common sense? Wet wood can't burn. Kia Wanyan stayed silent. Jong Kian sighed, resigning himself to fate. Kia Wanyan was a noble who was a pamped red. Couldn't serve it without care, arrogant, willful, vicious, and domineering. He must have cursed himself into this mess. Stuck here with her, he reignited the fire, warming the hut slightly. After drying overnight, his cloak was finally warm. Seeing her frail appearance, he tossed the cloak at her irritably. Kia Wanyan hissed, sucking in a breath. Jong Kian snatched the cloak back, expecting her to unleash a storm of curses, but she stayed silent, surprised. He carefully draped the cloak over her shoulders this time. You moron, Kia Wanyan said coolly. Jong Kian expected, but delayed. It somehow annoyed him more. Whoever married this woman would been cursed for 8 lifetimes. A good man doesn't quarrel with a woman. I went. Stoops to your level. I'm going too. Grilled fish, you can just smell it. Jong Chi-yan had just caught fish by the river, though only 2 small ones. I want both, Kia Wanyan said flatly. He sneered, but she added calmly, if you don't give them to me, I'll still be trotting your precious sister Yi Huan, too. The Minister of Rights when we get back. Jong Chi-yan saw the deep iron. You afraid I'll kill you? There's no one else here. He could kill her right now, and no one would ever know. Later, he could just say she died from her injuries. Kia Wanyan looked at him. Her disdain is obvious, and tilted her neck provocatively. Go ahead, kill me. If he'd wanted to kill her, he would have done it already. Why endure her provocations? Fine. Rot here by yourself. I'll find my own way out. Jong Kian stormed out, slamming the door so hard it wobbled on its hinges. The room fell silent. Kia Wanyan wasn't worried. She eyed the 2 fish on the floor, hesitated, then resisted the urge to touch them despite her hunger. They were slimy and reeked. Even soap beans might not wash off the stenches if she touched at them. About the time it took to burn as sticks of incense, the hut door creaked open. Jong Chi-yan's hands and feet were numb from the cold. He'd left his only warm cloak with Kia Wanyan in his fit of anger. Now back inside, he found the fire pit empty. Where was Kia Wanyan? His heart dropped. She was gone. Kia Wanyan, Kia Wanyan. Jong Chi-yan turned to leave when he suddenly heard acryacs from inside. He looked back to see the door of a small inner room swings open, revealing a stunning face. Calling for a soul, frowning, Jong Chi-yan stepped inside. What are you doing? Kia Wanyan emerged, saying, my clothes are dry now. I need to change. That morning cloth is too rough. It's making me itch like crazy. She'd grown up wearing only the finest shoe and yun brocades after over decades. Putting on coarse burlap left her skin irritated, even raising red rashes when she lifted her arms. Kia Wanyan swore she'd never been so disheveled in her life. Though her clothes were dry, the upper half was stained with blood. She had the choice but to grit her teeth and put on the dirty garments. Glancing back at the inner room, she turned and walked out. She shuffled slowly towards the fire, careful not to jostle her wounds. But when she sat down, the pain still surged like additional waves. Her face paled. Roast the fish, I'm starving. Jong Chi-yan arched eyebrow. Not surprised it came back? You were not the type to abandon someone. You just pretended to scare me. Kia Wanyan lied smoothly, though inwardly she scoffed. Asterisk, of course, he'd DC me back. He didn't even take his cloak. This idiot would freeze to death without it. Asterisk. Jong Kian paused, unsure whether to feel pleased or embarrassed. He huffed, feigning arrogance. I'm no saint. It came back to eat both fish myself, but since you look pitiful, I might spare you one." He went to prepare the fish. "Why didn't you roast them yourself? Did you bet I'd come back to share?" HMPH, this duplicitous woman had claimed she wanted both earlier. Kiao Wanyan, "Yes, you're right." Jong Kian huffed again, but his improved mood was obvious. Kiao Wanyan inwardly sighed. Asterisk every thought shows on his face. No wonder Kiao Yihuan didn't fancy him. Despite knowing him first, asterisk, they expected the unsalted fish to be the worst they'd ever tasted. But after starving, the plain grilled meat tasted like our Ori delicacies. That night, Kiao Wanyan finally succumbed to exhaustion. The next morning, their breakfast was another fish Zhang Qiyan caught only one this time. They split it. She took the tender middle, while he grumbled through the head and tail. Both pampered heirs. They secretly disdained each other, bickering nonstop after eating. Kiao Wanyan needed to wash her face. "No way. I need to change my bandages. The wound is still bleeding. Might as well clean the blood around it." The injury was so severe that evening with wound medicine, blood seeped through, but there was only enough medicine for one use. Zhang Qian snapped. "Why are you so high maintenance?" He felt cursed, an esteemed young lord, reduced to serving this woman like a servant. How can anyone be this difficult to please? Asterisk, he suddenly thought he wasn't so bad after all. Grumbling, he headed to the river, leaving the hut silent. Kiao Wanyan said coolly, "Come out." A young man with a serious, boyish face emerged from the inner room, Blacktail. His expression was cold and emotionless. Prince Heescroop will arrive within half an hour dot. At first, he'd wondered why she stayed after being found yesterday. Now he stood under. She was waiting for the prince. Kiao Wanyan's dark, luminous eyes half closed. "Give me painkillers." A guard rushed to Heeziu. "Your Highness, we found footprints in the snow near a dilapidated hut. Following them, I saw a young Lord Zhang washing a handkerchief by the river." Heeshiyu demanded, "Where is Kiao Wanyan?" The guard shook his head. "I didn't see her." I rushed back to report immediately. Instead of checking the hut, hope surged in Heefiyu. Lead the way. Zhang Qian and Kiao Wanyan had fallen together. They must be nearby. If Zhang could wash by the river, he could seek help. But he hadn't like lie because Kiao was injured and unable to move. Heeziyu winced at the memory of her arrow wounds and, full asterisk, if I hadn't insisted she traveled with us, this wouldn't have happened. Asterisk that night. Heavy snow had fallen. The cliff bottom was barren, rarely visited by evening beasts. Crunching through thick snow, Heeziyu spotted the hut from afar, decayed and long abandoned. He prayed to find them inside. When he pushed open the door, his wish came true. A guard stepped forward to follow, but Heeziyu barked sharply. "Withdraw. Turn around. No one enters without my permission." The guards obeyed, bowing their heads and facing away. Inside, Kiao Wanyan laid on a wooden plank, half her shoulders bare. Her long hair splayed like seaweed. Her pale, makeup-free face had a sickly porcelain glowing. Her exposed shoulders dazzling, lie white in the dim hut. Her eyes were misty, her lower lip bitten, piteously delicate. A picture of fragility. Zhang Qian knelt beside her, frozen mid-motion, a damp handkerchief hovering near her wounds. Before he could speak, the prince slammed the door shut. His expression was thunderous. The air turned icy, tension crackling. "Your..." Zhang Qian's greeting was cut off as Heeziyu kicked him to the ground. The blow landed solidly, making him gasp in pain. Heeziyu's deep eyes stared coldly at him. You were born into Amarkey family and have been pamped, read since childhood. Countless people have indulged edu, allowing you to act reckless in the capital. Now, you dare to do such lawless things? How audacious! Jong Kian clutched his chest, confused. What had he done? Looking at Kiao Wanyan, then at the prince. He seemed to understand. Wait, was he not the wronged one here? She had explicitly asked him to change her bandages. Why had the prince kicked him without asking? Zhang Qiyan shot a hidden bitterness. Look, if it were anyone else, he would have beaten them half to death. But this man outranked him. Even his father would have to bow and greet him. Kiao Wanyan grabbed her collar, eyes misty with tears. Your Highness, it's not what you think. Heziyu grew more irritated for no reason. He suspected she was defending Zhang out of fear. Zhang Qian met the prince's sharp, knife-like gaze fuming. It's really not like that. I didn't do anything. Am I crazy? Why would I take advantage of her? I was changing her wound dressing. Heziyu paused. He had only glanced through the door and hadn't seen her shoulder wound. Now he saw the shocking arrow injury on her fair, smooth shoulder with traces of a dagger. Incision. His heart jolted. It was a barbed arrow wound. He knew he should look away. Propriety demanded it. But his eyes lingered on her pale face. Kia Wanyan lowered her eyes to pull up her clothes but just led the wounded, letting out a soft gasp. Shiyu stepped forward, then hesitated, unsure where to place his hands. The air hummed with tension and awkwardness. He averted his gaze. It came in a hurry and didn't bring a female physician, but IV sent for your personal maid. She will apply medicine for you. Kia Wanyan responded softly, her voice as light as a spring breeze. Zhang Qiyan was dragged out after Heziyu closed the door. His mind replayed Kia Wanyan stare a streaked face. It was hard to imagine how much suffering she had endured to survive. Ziwan arrived and froze at the sight of her young lady inside the hut. Kia Wanyan's cold sweat sent a pangs through her heart, the pain radiating palpably. Miss, Ziwan cried, rushing over. Heziyu's face darkened at the weak sobs. Inside, she was hit by a barbed arrows. Zhang Qian nodded, wondering why the shrew from the other day now sounded so frail. Where had the woman who screamed like a slaughtered pig gone? How did you survive? We fell into the river and were washed ashore. I woke first, found this hut, and treated her wounds. When she regained consciousness, he also gave her the Gui Yuan pill I had. Heziyu understood. Falling from a cliff into water was still perilous, especially with an arrow wound. Surviving by sheer willpower alone would have been nearly impossible. The Gui Yuan pill was no miracle cure. They need Ed to leave for Yangju and find the physician immediately. Heziyu suddenly asked, You were near both Kia Wanyan and Yi Huan. Did you know why she rushed out to take the arrow? Zhang Qian stiffened, then shook his head. I don't know. His evasive expression did not escape Heziyu's notice, but the prince said nothing more. About half of 4 joss sticks of incense later, the door opened. Ziwan, always prepared, had brought clean clothes for her cleanliness loving mistress. Now Kia Wanyan wore a pink yun brocade dress embroidered with golden threaded flowers. Yet the wearers outshone the blossoms. Meeting Hishiyu's gaze at the door, she quickly looked away, her long lashes fluttering. Heziyu closed the door. Zhang Qiyan tried to entered but hesitated at the closed barrier. We'll leave soon. Yangju is closer, and I will find the best doctors to treat you. Kia Wanyan still dared not meet his eyes. Thank you, Your Highness. Heziyu pressed. Why did you take the arrow? I recalling you and Yi Huan were supposed to stay by the carriage. Qiao Wanyan hesitated, as if unsure whether to speak. Heezy lowered his eyes. Zhang Qiyan said you saw the assassin aiming at me and rushed to block the arrow on impulse. She denied it immediately. It was impulse. Then she bit her lip, falling silent. But Heezy, you already knew the truth. So she had indeed blocked the arrows for him. Qiao Wanyan Dao Zhang would have said that he knew the truth and would have fabricated a lie to protect Qiao Yi Huan, not tie the prince to her through a life debt. This meant the prince had guessed and was testing her. After such severe injuries, why not let the prince acknowledge the favor? Though exposing the truth might subtly sour his opinion of Yi Huan, a single grievance wouldn't shatter their bond. Prudence dicta Ted Sazy. NG the immediate advantage. You stepped closer, voice softening. Why hide it from me? Qiao Wanyan lowered her head, lashes casting shadows over her eyes. I fear red it would burden you. Your Highness. His heart stirred, as if a stone had rippled a calm lake. She continued steadily. It was an impulse. Even if I had time to weigh the risks, I would have blocked that arrow without hesitation. To me, Your Highness is more than just the crown prince or my future brother-in-law. You are a kinda, gentle true gentleman who serves the country, and sacrificing myself to save Deus. Air was a bargain too good to pass up. Her every word was firm. Heezy you had initially thought her act was purely personal, but now he realized this pamp red minister stalker had a vision and bred th of mind unlike any shelt red noblewoman. He felt he was discovering the real her, different from Yi Huan, yet equally extraordinary. Miss drink a cup of ginger tea to warm yourself. His Highness has been gone for so long. He will definitely find young Lord Zhang. Xiao Ying approached with the ginger tea. Qiao Yuan held a hot water pouch, gazing in the direction Heezy you had departed, a flicker of worry in her eyes. I hope Qi Yun returns safely, falling from such a hate eye. Her voice trailed off, choked with emotion. After a pause, she added, I wonder how Wanyan is doing. She was shot and fell off a cliff. If something happens to her, how will I face father and mother? A tear fell from her almond-shaped eyes, left unshed as she stared, worried lie into the distance. The guards assigned to protect Qiao Yi Huan silently admired her. Asterisk miss. Qiao is truly kind and gentle. Asterisk. Too bad she wasn't legitimate daughter. If she were, the Empress would sure lie not opposite the crown. Prince's repeated proposals in their eyes, unaware of the crown prince's position or the stakes of royal marriages. She seemed the dream wife, magnanimous, kind of beautiful, destined to be a virtuous mothers and mistresses, managing the household without jealousy. Prince Jing? Xiao Ying turned startled to see him. Qiao Yi Huan turned too, tears stains still visible on her face. Her misty, almond's eyes were as delicate as a flower swaying in a storm. He yanly sat atop his horse, regarding her with a disdainful gaze. Where has the crown prince gone? Qiao Yi Huan realized Prince Jing must have traveled far on urgent business with the crown prince. But how did he know to come here? Asterisk strange. Could he have heard about Qiao Wanyan's fall? Everyone in the capital knew he loaded head Qiao Wanyan, so why would he care? Her voice weak and vulnerable, she asked, Why is your highness here? Annoyance flickered in He Yanli's eyes. Or what does it matter to you? Asterisk just answered the question. Where did all these extra words come from? Asterisk. Qiao Yi Huan stiffened. Xiao Ying quickly intervened. My lord, my miss was just asking out of concern. Why bully her? Mo Xiao drew his sword, pressing it to Xiaoying's neck. Presumptuous. Do you want to die? Xiaoying gasped. Frozen in place, Qiao Yihuan was terrified. Though she knew Prince Jing was ruthless, she hadn't expected such brutality, even from his men. The crown prince went north, she said. He Yanli turned his horse, but as he did, a black-tailed youth on horses emerged from the back. The north, his eyes narrowed. It looked like the dog by Qiao Wanyan side. Asterisk, where did she find such a pretty boy? Asterisk. Lu Jinyang, Lu Jinyi were aloof, ignored everyone, urging his horse past without a glance. Qiao Yihuan called out, "Are you young master beside Miss Wanyan? Have you found her?" Lu Jinyi reined in his horse, steadying her undisguised worries. As if deeply concerned for Qin, rarely talkative, he asked, "What if I have? What if I haven't?" Qiao Yihuan was taken aback. In the past, men had always spoken gently to her. Why was everyone confronting her now, leaving her embarrassed? She had dreamed the same dream for Amonth. Though unloved by family, she would be cherished by many excellent men, shielded, adored, and given pure love. Indeed, reality matched the dream. The crown prince and young Lord Zhang, whom she'd never expected to know, favored her. Even noble sons were courteous. Clutching her chest, she said, "If she's found, I would be relieved and glad." Lu Jinyang sneered. His smile mocked rather than warm. Xiaoying is safe now. Rushed to Qiao Yihuan's side, linking arms with her. "What are you laughing at? My miss is of course. She hopes Misser is found. Is that so? Weren't you the one who pushed Qiao Wanyan into a barbed arrow?" Qiao Yihuan's face paled. He Yanli frowned. Voice icy, "What did you say?" Lu Jinyang fell silent, urging his horse onward. Mo Xiao blocked him. The sword was drawn, but Lu Jinyi ignored him. Mo Xiao slashed to stop him. "Can't you understand human speech, Your Highness?" Lu Jinyi said coldly. "Presumptuous." Mo Xiao thrust his sword. Lu Jinying leaped down, drawing his own blade. There, swords clashed with a metallic rings. Moments later, Mo Xiao staggered back, a bloody gash on his arm, clearly outmatched. "Enough," he Yanli snapped. Lu Jinyi flicked his sword, flicking off the blood as he sheathed it. A group of black-clad guards blocked his path. He Yanli demanded, "Is Qiao Wanyan dead?" "She is," Lu Jinyang lied. Qiao Yihuan felt a strange relief. He Yanli's face turned as cold as millennial-old frost, sending chills through all. Lu Jinyang added, "But not yet. She would die only after he obtained the antidote." Qiao Yihuan frowned. "She's still alive?" Lu Jinyi scoffed, disappointed. Xiaoying snapped. "Why would my miss be disappointed? She's thrilled Misser is alive. Don't slander her." Xiaoying had always protected Qiao Yihuan fiercely. Like a mother hen, her mistress was frail, bullied even by servants. Someone had to be strong for her. Lu Jiny's insolence only infuriated her more. "What do you mean? My miss is gentle and kind. How could she push her sister into danger?" "Maybe Qiao Wanyan framed my miss to win the crown prince's favor." Ray calling Prince Jingshan red for Qiao Wanyan. She grew bolder. "Yes, everyone in the household knows what miss or is like, and so does your highness. A vicious woman like her would stop at nothing to harm my miss." Qiao Yihuan remained silent, simply gazing quietly at Prince Jing, as if trying to gauge his reaction. He Yanli's expression was unchanged, his noble and peerless features like a spring breeze, revealing no discernible emotions or moods, his posture as straight as a pine. He stepped gently to stop before Xiaoying, not bothering to lower his head as he seen her through half-closed eyes. Xiaoying swallowed hard, nearly overwhelmed by his oppressive aura. Her legs trembled as she struggled to stand. Qiao Yihuan stepped forward. "Your Highness?" Without so much as a glance at her, he yanly drew the sword from Mo Xiao's waist and thrust it mercilessly towards Xiaoying's chest. Qiao Yihuan paled in horror, instinctively closing her eyes and recoiling. Waves of panic surged through her, nearly making her legs give way. Xiaoying let out a blood-curdling scream. Lu Jiani could have left earlier but stayed now. Arms crossed. He watched the scene with interest, increasingly glad he had emerged first. The sword did not pierce Xiaoying's chest. Guards, left by the crown prince to protect Qiao Yihuan, had thrown themselves in the way. The one lost his left arm in the process. His ear-splitting cries rang out, and Qiao Yihuan covered her mouth in disbelief at Prince Jing's recklessness. No wonder they called him the god of slaughter. How dared he act so wantonly? Dangerous darkness flickered in He Yanli's seas, his sinister gaze like that of Affy ending from hell, sending chills down all spines. The garden, LT's on one knee. "Your Highness, we are ordered to protect Miss Zhou. Please do not make things difficult for us. Even if I kill all of you, what can the crown prince do to me?" His arrogant tone left no doubt he was not boasting. He truly could, and would, do it. He yanly turned to Xiaoying, who knelt clutching her broken arm and sobbing. Hysterically, Qiao Yihuan finally snapped out of it, rushing to kneel beside her and hold her, tears streaming. "Your Highness, please spare Xiaoying. She means everything to me. If you want to vent your anger, kill me instead." The crown prince's guards stepped forward, prepared to die to stop He Yanli if he tried to harm Qiao Yihuan. They knew her importance to their master. He Yanli raised an eyebrow. "Fine, I've taken Addis. Like to you anyway. Since you want to die, I'll do you a favor with that." He thrust the sword at Qiao Yihuan's throat. "Stop." He Yanli paused, eyes narrowing as he scanned the approaching figures in the distance. Seeing him about to strike again, He Shiyu snapped He Yanli at the familiar voice. Qiao Yihuan felt an inexplicable sense of relief. The prince is back. Thank goodness. He Yanli's expression shifted lightly as he drew the sword. Qiao Yihuan turned hopefully, wearing a vulnerable and delicate expressions, only to freeze at the sight before her. Hiziyu was carrying Qiao Wanyan in his arms, hurrying towards them but slowing every few steps. "He Yanli, what are you doing?" Calmly handing the sword back to Mo Xiao, He Yanli replied, "Some fool offended me, so I kindly sent her to meet Yamaha." "What? Elder brother, are you here to praise my kindness?" Hiziyu finally reached them and gently set Qiao Wanyan down. She hissed, her stunning face contorting with pain. Hiziyu immediately turned back, concerned. "What's wrong?" Qiao Wanyan shook her head. "It's nothing. Just led the wounded. I'm fine, Your Highness. Please check on elder sister." Qiao Yihuan felt her blood turn to ice, her delicate fingers trembling as she forced herself to remain calm. Would she reveal the truth? Did the prince already know? How could she explain? He Yanli glanced at Qiao Wanyan in the distance, sneaking inwardly, full of schemes, always resorting to underhanded tactics. After settling Qiao Wanyan, Hiziyu rose and helped Qiao Yihuan to her feet. "Yihuan, are you all right?" Her heart pounding, she replied shakily, I'm fine." Hiziyu glanced at Xiaoying, as severed arms lying in the snow, blood staining the white ground, a horrifying sight. "Do you know what you're doing? Yihuan offended you? Everyone knows her nature. How could she possibly offend you?" He Yanli shrugged. She sassed him ID as a quail. "So of course not. but her maid was rude. He Ziyu knew Xiao Ying's temperament and did not doubt the story, but he was still furious that He Yanli had dared to, attacking Yuan's people without regard for his authorities, even attempting to kill her. "Why are you here?" He Yanli replied. "I suddenly missed elder brother and came to visit. Now that I've seen you, I'll be going." Everyone was stunned by his audacity, clearly showing no respect for the crown prince. He Ziyu's expression darkened further as guards stepped forward, tensions flaring and the atmosphere turning icy. Just then Zhang Qian, who had been trailing behind, finally caught up and froze at the scene before him. What had happened? Xiao Ying's arm? "Sister Yihuan, are you all right?" Qiao Yihuan's face stiffened as she shook her head, speechless. Zhang Qian was thoroughly confused. "Prince Jing, what are you doing here? What's going on?" Zhang Qian knew He Yanli well. Having grown up in the palace, he was closer to He Yanli than to the crown prince, often hunting with them with the emperor. He Shiyu frowned, his anger slightly tempered. Glancing at Qiao Wanyan, he said, "Yihuan is a minister's daughter. It's bad enough. You left the capital without permission, but now you dare attempt to kill a noble lady? Your arrogance knows no bounds. I will report this to Father Emperor when we return." A smirking tugget at He Yanli's lips before he could speak. He Ziyu walked over and carefully picked up Qiao Wanyan. "Your Highness." Qiao Wanyan, who had been watching the drama unfold, was startled by the sudden embrace. He Ziyu said, "You're seriously lie injured. The priority is getting you to Yangjun, otherwise your elder sister will worry." He emphasized this, as if to reassure Qiao Yihuan and himself. The group departed with varied emotions, leaving He Yanli standing alone. Mo Xiao snorted. "The crown prince thinks you care about Miss Zhou, and is trying to provoke you. As if you could still like her after all these years. He must think you're a soft-hearted fool." No one knew better than him how Prince Jing had survived these years, feud led by Hat Red for Qiao Wanyan. He Yanli turned to him. "You've served me 4 years. You understand me best." Mo Xiao smiled awkwardly. He Yanli added, "So why don't you go die?" Mo Xiao's smile vanished. "Pardon?" Yangju Jin Mansion. When old Master Jin heard the bad news at his advanced age, he nearly fainted and immediately summoned the best physician in Yangju to treat Qiao Wanyan. Physician Liu stood up and said, "Second Miss Swound was treated very promptly. For now, her life is out of danger, falling from such a height and being hit by a barbed arrows. Without the Guiyuan pill, she probably would end. They've made it. Fortunate lie." "Fortunately, but what?" Old Master Jin asked anxiously. Physician Liu replied, "With such a severe injury, I'm afraid there will be scars. A woman values her skin and appearance above all else. For someone like Second Miss, even after recovery, she will surely struggle to accept such large scars on her body." He Vu asked solemnly, "Would Wang Yin Jade ointment help?" Physician Liu nodded hurriedly. "Yes, it definitely would. I hear only the Empress in the palace has a boxes of this ointment. It's worth a fortune, but such a precious items is hard to obtain easily." Physician Liu did not know the identity of the man before him. He Shiyu looked at Old Master Jin. Lord Jin, rest assured. Old Master Jin instantly understood. A young girl of 18 by Physician Liu's side kept glancing between Qiao Yihuan in the corner, He Shiyu, and Qiao Wanyan on the bed, her eyes filled with surprise and excitement. When others time travel, they become the female lead or the vicious second female lead, but she had transmigrated into a background characters from an old novel she'd stayed up late reading, someone never even mentioned in the story. So this was the female lead, Kiao Yi-hwan. She finally got to see her sweet daughter. As the female lead in the old novel, Kiao Yi-hwan was gentle and kind, though not breathtakingly beautiful. She had a unique charm that made countless high-quality men fall in love with her and willing to protect her. The second female lead, like in all old novels and dramas, had perfect looks and noble status and family love. But no matter how hard she tried, she could only be a foil to the female lead. She was a relentless villainess, never satisfied with what she had. When reading the novel, she doubted Kiao Wanyan the most and wished she could transmigrate to tear her apart for repeated life-framing and bullying the sweet daughter. But why did the scene before her differ from the novel? She liked to skip chapters while reading, but she knew it should be the female lead who blocked the arrow for the crown prince. Why was it the second female lead instead? And the crown prince's saturation towards the second female lead saw Medoff. Shouldn't he be cold and distant upon seeing her? What was going on here? She regretted skipping chapters. Now she was less clued about how to help the female lead. After old Master Jin sent physicians, Liu and his apprentice away, Liu Yanran looked at Kiao Yi-hwan with maternal. Kiao Yi-hwan met her gaze in confusion, blinking innocently and nodding slightly. Liu Yan ran internally let her. The daughter was so well behaved and polite. Once everyone left, Heziyu revealed the truth of what had happened. Only then did old Master Jin understand why his precious grandpa daughter had suffered such severe injuries. Wait though, it seemed out of character. His darling was a type to be foolish-like kind. Why would she block an arrow for someone? Kiao Yi-hwan was also shocked. All along the way, she'd been uneasy, wondering what Kiao Wanyan had told the crown prince. But now she learned this asterisk was the story. Why hadn't exposed that Kiao Yi-hwan had pushed her? Was she plotting an even bigger scheme? Old Master Jin sighed. Wanyan is spoiled and willful, but she's always clear-headed about important matters. Her actions were by no means impulsive. Heziyu recalled that in the hut, she had said the same. Asterisk she hadn't acted on impulse asterisk. As dusk fell, Heziyu was eager to return to the capital to report how he would depart early the next morning. Kiao Yi-hwan went to Xiaoying's room. Seeing her broken arm, she felt immense pain and sat by the bed, tears falling one by one. It's all my fault. If you hadn't, T followed me to Qingzhou, this wouldn't have happened. It's all my fault. The servants in the mansion treated people based on status. Xiaoying's century had been superficially treated, so her life was saved. But she was in excruciating pain, gritting her teeth. She comforted Kiao Yi-hwan. Don't cry, miss. Kiao Yi-hwan cried for a long time. Tomorrow morning, I'll find a doctor. Pawn my jade bracelet to pay for your treatment. And make sure you recover quickly. How can you do that? Xiaoying exclaimed. That jade. The bracelet was given to you by His Highness. You can't pawn it for me. Kiao Yi-hwan shook her head. You are the most important person to me besides Mother. I must take good care of you. Xiaoying's heart softened, deeply moved. Meanwhile, Kiao Wanyan laid on a comfortable white jade bed, while Ziyuan beside her had been whispering for nearly an hour, her throat dry. She gulped down a pot of tea and continued. Miss, why did it to tell the crown prince what that vicious woman Kiao Yi-hwan did? Then he would definitely stop liking her. Kiao Wanyan laughed at her puffed-up expression. You'll turn into a steamed. But if you get this angry, Miss Tilde Ziyuan pouted unhappily. Kiao Wanyan's eyes narrowed in the storybooks. No matter how many times Kiao Yi-hwan framed others, The crown prince always believed her, tolerated her, and took her side. It was as if Qiao Yuan had an invincibility aura, poisoning, assassinating, and escaping death repeatedly. Always trusted unconditioned, a lie despite her lies. If so, there was no need to waste efforts on Qiao Yuan. She would make the crown prince shift all his love and favor from Qiao Yuan to herself. She would make Qiao Yuan realize that Amon's love was the most unreliable thing. She treated you like this, and you Ray just going to act like nothing happened? Qiao Wanyan said, I can't kill her. That was how it was in the storybooks, but she hadn't tested it yet. At the door, a servant quietly slipped away. In the study, old Master Jin's brush snapped in two. His usual kind and amiable face held no trace of a smile, replaced by a dangerous aura. Did you hear clearly? The servant nodded. I heard it with my own ears. Master, no mistake. Old Master Jin turned to look at the calligraphy scroll on the wall that reads pure heart. In this world, anyone who blocks Yanyan's path deserves to die. He had only one daughter and one granddaughter, both cherished beyond measure. Whatever she wanted, he would support her and clear every obstacle in her way. The little girl he had once overlooked, kept in the minister's mansion only to hold his up. Daughter's reputation for kindness. She could not be allowed to live anymore. Those who harbored murderous intent would never admit their mistakes. They would only gather more courage for the next attempt. Old Master Jin took the bottle from a porcelain, a hidden compartment. Go do it. Early the next morning, the crown prince set off for the capital. In the lengthy, winding corridor, Qiao Yuan held a food box, dressed in plain clothes and makeup, her eyes filled with reluctance. Your Highness, I made sweet soup and pastries with my own hands. You can enjoy them on the journey. May the wind and snow favor your path. Hiziyu took the box. Sweet soup takes the most time. You must have gotten up in the middle of the night to make this. Thank you for your hard work. I will savor every bite. Qiao Yuan gazed longing, lie at his retreating figure, longing to leave with him, but with Xiao Ying gravely injured and needing to recover here, she couldn't depart. Sighing silently, she glanced towards the direction of Qiao Wanyan's swarm pavilion. Qiao Wanyan couldn't understand why physicians Liu's daughter always wore such a hostile expression towards her. Was this their first meeting? Why did it feel as though she'd killed the girl's entire ancestral line? Yanrin, you'll change second miss dressing next. Be extremely careful and meticulous. Physician Liu turned to Qiao Wanyan and added, second miss, rest assured, my daughter is very delicate in her methods. As soon as physician Liu left, Liu Yanren's face fell. Though she had inherited the original host's memories and could change the dressing, how could she sincerely care for the vicious second female lead from the novel? She'd wanted to vent her anger on this villainess, not tending to her wounds. Who, after reading a novel, would want to transmigrate into the story and tickle the bad guys until they begged for mercy? Liu Yanran carried the medicine box forward, glaring at Qiao Wanyan's face, more stunning than any modern celebrities, and inwardly cursed. Why did Amber's secondary female lead in? Does a novel have to be this beautiful? Maybe she should secretly lie prepare a disfiguring potion for this wicked woman tomorrow? As a mother fan of the female lead, Liu Yanran had already biased entirely towards Qiao Yuan. Be careful with your movements, Ziyuan ordered bluntly. Qiao Wanyan suddenly interjected, Ziyuan, you changed my dressing instead. Yanran, you can guide her from the side. Liu Yanran, eager to perform, froze at the words. Yes, miss. Though Ziyuan had a bold and straightforward personality, She was meticulous and patient in all matters concerning Kiao Wanyan. After applying the medicine, Ziyuan helped Kiao Wanyan sit up. Sipping tea, Kiao Wanyan turned her gaze to Liu Yanren. Her beautiful eyes half-lidded and curved into a smiling as she backed the girl over. Liu Yanren approached puzzled, only to have her hand gently held. Staring at Kiao Wanyan's radiant smile, Liu Yanren's ears turned crimson for no reason. Noticing the flushing, Kiao Wanyan asked, "How old are you?" Liu Yanren bit her lips, her voice dropping awkwardly. "I'm 24. But she swallowed the last two words. "I'm 15 this year, miss." Kiao Wanyan stroked her hand. Her smile as clear and pure as a stream. "Then you're younger than me. I should call you little sister. Dear sister, can you do something for me? You must keep it a secret from everyone, even your father. Would you?" Liu Yanren left the room in a daze, led by a servant to a side chamber. Only after sitting down did she slap her thighs in realization. Why had she agreed to help the vicious villainess? Arms crossed, she wondered uneasily, what exactly did that wicked woman want her to do? Shortly after, old Master Jin entered leaning on a cane. "How is my darling today? Don't worry. Maternal grandfather will search for all the best elixirs and rare medicines too. Ensure you have no scars. Besides, the crown prince promised to send medicine as well. He couldn't let his precious grandpa, the daughter, suffered such injuries in vain. By now, news of Kiao family's second misblocking an arrow for the crown prince and falling off a cliff would surely spread before the prince even reached the capital. "Grandpa, don't worry. My brother is a famous doctor. When we return to the capital, I'll take my sister to see him. He'll definitely cure her." Yan Yao had been so terrified that day she'd fainted on the cliff and was sent back to Yongju by Ziyuan's men. Kiao Wanyan feigned confusion. "Yun Yao, did it too say your brother would return to Yongju soon? A doctor? Your brother is a physician?" Yun Yao blushed. "I'm sorry, sister. I didn't mean to lie. My brother really is a doctor. We've been together, be dependent on each other since childhood. And I snuck out to play this time. Who would have guessed her trip would be so hair-raising?" She was starting to believe her brother's warnings about the dangers outside. Yun Yao peeked at Kiao Wanyan's expression, afraid of making her angry. Kiao Wanyan sighed softly, trying to pat her hair, but unable to lift her arm. So she held the girl's hands instead. "All right, but don't lie to sister again." Yan Yao felt guilty. How could she have deceived such a kind sister? She was terrible. "Go play now, someone. Take Yan Yao out to enjoy the city. It is first moon tonight. The streets will be lively." Yun Yao shook her head. "No. How can I leave you here alone to have fun? Go ahead. I'll be happy only if you're happy. We don't need you here. Don't worry." After Yun Yao left, Kiao Wanyan asked, "Grandfather, you look worried. What's wrong?" Old Master Jin shook his head. "What could trouble me? I'm just been distressed you for enduring such pain." He didn't mention the attempt to poison the illegitimate daughter. The girl had drunk the poison tea with her own lips, yet showed no signs of poisoning. Even a health check revealed nothing amiss. Stranger to strange, he wondered if the expensive poison had been faked. At night, supported by Ziyuan, Kiao Wanyan walked to a secret chamber in the backyard. The chamber had no candles, but rows of night pearls cast a soft glow. Reaching her destination, she sat on a cushioned chair, and Ziyuan carefully draped a blanket over her legs. Holding a hot water pouch, she tilted her head to gaze at the woman tied to a chair across the room. Her mouth gagged, her face as radiant as a lotus. Kiao Wanyan smiled wildly. like the most beautiful flowers in a spring garden, yet thorned, with curved eyes and a mockingbird lilt. She purred, "Sister, what goes around comes around." Kiao Yuan's mouth was gagged. Unable to speak, she whimpered softly, overwhelmed by fear that made her trembling uncontrollably. She had been on edge lately, knowing Kiao Wanyan's vicious nature, and that she would never let things go. But when the moment finally came, she was still terrified beyond words. What would the other women do to her? Kiao Wanyan loved nothing more than watching others fear and dread her, especially Kiao Yuan, the destined favorite who was supposed to have a better life. "Why are you shaking, sister? You nearly killed me with that injury. Shouldn't you care for me day and night too at one? Why have you been avoiding me?" Kiao Wanyan gestured, and Ziyuan stepped forward to remove the gag from Kiao Yuan's mouth. What do you want? If you hurt me, His Highness will never forgive you." Kiao Yuan gritted her teeth. "You took that arrow for the prince on purpose. Even if you told him I pushed you, he'll never believe it." Kiao Wanyan said nothing, turning to look at Lu Jinyang, who stood against the wall looking bored. A playful thought struck her. What if she made Lu Jinyang, the man who was supposed to risk everything for Kiao Yuan in the story, hurt her instead? How entertaining! With a malicious smirk, Kiao Wanyan pointed to her own wounds. "See this? I'm injured, but sister is stronger than me. So let's make it symmetrical." Kiao Yuan froze, realizing what was coming. She struggled violently. Let me go. Let me go." Kiao Wanyan feigned confusion. "Why aren't you begging me softly anymore, sister?" Ziyuan gagged her again. Lu Jinyang glanced at the bounded woman. To him, she was a stranger, someone he met only a few times, barely exchanged words with. He hated everyone equally, male or female. But why did he hesitate? Frowning, he refused to acknowledge any weakness. Grabbing the barbed arrow from the table, he strode towards Kiao Yuan without pause, driving the sharp tip into her shoulder. A muffled cry escaped her. Kiao Yuan dared not move, overwhelmed by pain so intense it stole her breath. Lu Jinyang, like a heartless wolf, seeing meant to be challenging his own instincts, he roughly yanked at the arrow, blood spilling, then Saint Abed the other's shoulders without a second thoughts. Liu Yanran entered just in time to see this, collapsing to the floor in horror. By the time she recovered, Lu Jinyang had already pulled the arrow out again. Kiao Yuan was to faint from pain to scream, teetering on the edge of unconsciousness. This brutal revenge was exactly what one would expected from the novels. Vicious supporting female leads. Kiao Wanyan didn't flinch. She had never pretended to be kind. Anyone who hurt her would face tenfold retaliation. Why should she whitewash myself to set off others? Ridiculous. She would defy fate, striving for what she wanted, and never regret it, even if she failed. If they called her a villainess, why should she repay harm with kindness? What are you doing? Liu Yanran staggered forward, her heart aching at Kiao Yuan's pale, lifeless form. Yuan? Yuan, are you all right? Kiao Wanyan narrowed her eyes. Asterisk Yuan? Asterisk, why was this girl addressing Kiao Yuan so intimately? Hadn't they just met yesterday? Earlier, sensing Liu Yanran's hostility, Kiao Wanyan had refused to let her change the dressing and even had the medicine checked by another physician. Now, her caution seemed justified. Patch up her wounds. Don't tell anyone, Ziyuan ordered coldly. Like hell. Liu Yanran snapped. This is illegal torture. I'll report you to the authorities. Yangju is ruled by the Jin family alone. Kia Wanyan spoke calmly. "I remember your mother died years ago. You're alone with your father and sickly brother. Your father is getting old." "What do you mean?" Kia Wanyan stood. "Keep your mouth shut, and your family stays safe." Liu Yanran had been transmigrated for half a year, and she truly saw her father and brother as family, especially since she'd been an orphan in her previous life. Even if they weren't blood-related, she couldn't bear to risk their lives. Overwhelmed by powerlessness, she swallowed her defiance. When the others left, only Qiao Yuan and Liu Yanran remained. The chamber door slammed edged shut, and Ziyuan said coolly, "They stay here until Qiao Yihuan swounds SCABS over." Her mistress had ordered that no one die in the Jin mansion, but the debt of pain must be paid. Liu Yanran heard the faint warning, followed by the door locking. Now she stood under what Qiao Wanyan had forced her to do. Untying Qiao Yihuan with trembling hands, she heaved her onto the stone bed and frantically opened the medical kit. Even prepared, she flinched at the sight of the wounds. By then, Qiao Yihuan had fainted. On her way back, Qiao Wanyan encountered Zhang Qian. Though not seriously injured, he too had fallen from the cliff, with Qiao Yihuan staying behind. He naturally refused to leave. "Have you seen Sister Yihuan?" he asked. But Qiao Wanyan didn't pause or reply. Frowning, he blocked her path. "I'm asking you a question." Qiao Wanyan snapped, "I don't know, you moron." "Hey, you can't leave until you answer." She stared coldly at him, finally saying, "She went back to the capital." Why would she stays now that the prince is gone? Do you think she'd stay for you asterisk? Leave if you want, but stop wasting food in this mansion. Zhang Qian scoffed. "Don't forget I saved you. Is this how you treat your savior?" Qiao Wanyan paused, her dark eyes fixing him with a cold stares. Zhang Qian swallowed, inexplicably guilty. Now everyone believed Qiao Wanyan had treated her own wounds and waited for the prince's rescue. If others knew they'd been alone together, she haved to marry him. The prince had ordered them to keep it silent, especially since Qiao Wanyan refused to marry him, and any union would need proper formalities to avoid scandal. Just kidding. Why so serious? Qiao Wanyan turned and walked away without another word.